Chosen one, pause for a second. Something pulled you here, and you know it. February 6th isn't just another day. For you, it's a 24-hour window, a moment God uses to shift what's been stuck for far too long. And listen, I'm not saying that to sound dramatic. I'm saying it because your spirit already recognizes what your mind is still trying to explain. Most people won't feel anything today. They'll scroll, laugh, move on, and sleep like normal. But you've been sensing it building. That pressure, that restlessness, that silent frustration like, why is nothing moving even though I'm praying? What's one area of your life where you need movement right now? Relationships, finances, purpose, or peace? Comment one word or a short phrase. I'm going to pray over the comments today. Your response matters. It's a line in the sand that says, God, I'm ready. I'm listening. I'm not missing this. Because here's what's happening. Something is breaking on purpose. Not your life, your limitations. That invisible wall you've been pushing against, the one that made progress feel delayed, blocked, and exhausting. February 6th is the day it starts to crack. And it won't be subtle. This is the kind of shift that doesn't arrive politely. It hits like a quiet thunderclap. No warning, no explanation, just motion. You might feel it first as restlessness, or a sudden urge to change something, or a sharp realization like, I can't stay in this version of my life anymore. That's not anxiety. That's God applying pressure to what's been holding you back. Because what's coming next needs space. And yes, when God is about to upgrade a season, the first thing you notice is intensity. Things feel heavier. People act strange. Old connections start fading. Unstable situations start shaking. Not because you're being attacked, but because what's not aligned can't go where God is taking you. Here's the part most people miss. Sometimes the blessing doesn't start with a gift. It starts with a release of delay, a release of confusion, a release of almost and not yet. And over the next 24 hours, you're going to notice a pattern. Doors that felt sealed start to loosen. Information finds you at the right time. People think of you out of nowhere. Opportunities form behind the scenes before you even ask. It'll feel like your timeline becomes magnetic. And you'll catch yourself thinking, wait, why is everything moving so fast all of a sudden? Because heaven doesn't operate on your panic. It responds to alignment. And this window doesn't open for everyone. It opens for people who've been refined, pressed, tested, and still stayed standing. So if today feels different, that's why. There's a holy urgency in the air, a spark in your spirit, a quiet sense that something is turning. When God activates a prophetic window, your body notices before your brain can explain it. That's why these next 24 hours can feel unusual. Time feels sharper, your thoughts get louder, and the little things start happening too fast to ignore. You might catch repeating numbers, a sudden chill, a flash of certainty out of nowhere, even a moment of déjà vu that makes you pause and think, wait, what was that? No, those aren't random. That's often how heaven taps you on the shoulder and says, pay attention, I'm moving your life. And once this kind of momentum starts, watch what happens around you. People show up unexpectedly. Conversations shift in a single sentence. Messages appear at the exact moment you needed them. Doors you thought were sealed start opening again. Sometimes what you thought would take months happens in days. Sometimes what you thought required struggle shows up with ease. Chosen one, that's not luck. That's alignment. Because this window doesn't just bring acceleration, it also brings separation. Don't be surprised if something starts getting removed, a distraction, a relationship that keeps draining you, a habit that delays you, a situation that's been keeping you small. When God wants your blessing to arrive faster, He often clears what slows you down. And yes, your emotions may spike. You might feel sudden clarity, or truth you can't unsee, or intensity that feels like pressure, even if nothing visible has changed yet. That's because your inner world is catching up to what God is doing in the unseen. You're being positioned so the miracle can find you without resistance. Over these 24 hours, you step out of stagnation and into rhythm. What used to feel distant starts touching your life. You become magnetic to what belongs to you, not because you finally earned it, but because you're finally becoming the version of you that can hold it. And even if you can't see the full picture yet, the shift has already started. Your timeline is speeding up. Your blessing is entering orbit. And what's meant for you is moving closer than you think. Now listen carefully, because this is where people miss it. When February 6th activates, you won't just feel a vibe. You'll see signs, clear ones. And if even one of these shows up for you today, take it seriously. 1. Sudden chills. Not from cold, not from fear. It's like a quick electric wave through your body. It comes out of nowhere and leaves fast. Many people experience this when their spirit recognizes God's movement before their mind can label it. 2. An unexpected message from an unexpected person. Someone you haven't heard from in a long time. A new connection. A message that answers a question you didn't even say out loud. When God accelerates things, communication shifts first. 3. A strange, intentional quiet. Not loneliness. Space. Distractions fall off. Noise decreases. It can feel like the world steps back to make room for what's about to step in. That silence isn't absence, it's preparation. 4. Vivid, weighty dreams, faces, places, numbers, moments, dreams that feel too specific to be random. Sometimes God speaks when everything else is finally quiet. 5. Angel numbers that hit at the exact moment. Not just repeating digits, but appearing right when your spirit is stirred. A clock, a receipt, a license plate, even a timestamp in a video. It feels like it's following you, because it's marking timing. 6. A wave of emotion that feels like release, not panic, not fear. More like something inside you finally exhaling. You might tear up without knowing why. Feel gratitude before the breakthrough shows up. Feel peace, even while circumstances look the same. That's often a sign the weight is lifting first, before the proof arrives. 7. A sudden surge of energy or restlessness. Your mind sharpens. Your spirit feels lighter. You feel driven, awake, ready, almost unable to sit still. That can be momentum building, your timeline catching fire. 8. Random déjà vu. That eerie feeling like you've lived this exact moment already. It can happen when your life is realigning with where you were always meant to be. 9. Pressure suddenly dissolves. A fear loses its grip. A tension you carried for months fades. A painful memory stops having the same sting. That's often the old season breaking, so the new one can take over. These signs don't show up for everyone, and they don't show up softly. They hit with precision because they're doing two things at once: warning you that the old life is ending and confirming that the blessing is already moving. So if even one of those signs happens to you today, hear me clearly. Your breakthrough isn't coming slowly. It's coming fast. Faster than you planned. Faster than you expected. Faster than anything you've experienced before. These signs aren't entertainment. They're heaven's way of tuning you, preparing you to recognize speed when God releases it. Most people dismiss it. They call it coincidence, mood swings, random moments, and they miss the message. Then they miss the moment, but you're still here, which means you're not missing it, you're receiving it. Now here's what nobody warns you about. Right before a breakthrough, the pressure often spikes. On February 6th, that pressure can feel louder than usual, almost like a shadow shows up right before the light hits. Not to destroy you, to test whether you'll retreat back into the old version of you, because right before God changes your life, the old patterns fight for control. Old fear, old doubt, old habits, old wounds trying to reopen, and suddenly you feel it all at once. Fatigue, overthinking, anxiety, random sadness, tension you can't explain. You might even think, did I lose progress overnight? No, this isn't decline. It's the final cleansing before elevation. When God shifts your season fast, the old weight has to come out fast. And release is rarely quiet. Release can be messy. It can feel chaotic. It can feel heavy. But hear this clearly. You are not under attack. You are being refined. You are not being blocked. You are being positioned. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. If today feels heavier, it's often because the answer is closer than you think. If things feel tense, it's often because the breakthrough is near. That pressure isn't the end. It's the signal that the beginning is arriving. Because there comes a moment when heaven stops whispering and starts delivering. A moment when things move from slow build to sudden impact. And when God moves like that, it's like lightning, quick, bright, impossible to ignore. You may feel the atmosphere change, like the air has weight, like something is approaching, forming, locking into place. Your intuition sharpens, your thoughts get clearer, and deep down, you sense something is about to happen. That's not imagination. That's divine collision. God rearranging your life from the inside out. And usually, the miracle hits your inner world first. You feel it spiritually before you see it physically. That's why you may get a sudden wave of hope or clarity that doesn't match your circumstances yet, or excitement you can't explain. Your spirit recognizes what your eyes haven't seen. Then the impossible timing starts. The right conversation at the right second. An opportunity with no warning. A door opening exactly when you needed it. A person showing up with information or support that fits too perfectly to be random. That's not luck. That's God's precision. And notice the pattern. Revelation often comes after intensity, after you've been stretched, after you've been tested, after you've been tired, because the fight makes room for the miracle. The wait makes room for the win. So none of what you felt was wasted. It was training. It was preparation. It was refinement. That's why February 6th matters. This is the window where things begin moving quickly, where destiny stops resisting and starts advancing. You might not see the full picture yet, but you can feel it. And when it lands, everything changes. What you've been waiting on starts moving toward you. The opportunity you needed appears. The answer you prayed for arrives. The clarity you begged for becomes obvious. Now, stay with me, because this next part is the difference between people who witness a breakthrough and people who keep it. If you've made it this far, it's not an accident. It's a sign your timeline has officially entered acceleration. What's coming isn't slow. It isn't uncertain. It isn't delayed. It's sudden. It's intense. It's life-shifting. And even if you can't see it yet, heaven is already rearranging people, situations, and outcomes in your favor. Chosen ones, The next 24 hours won't feel like normal time. There's a weight to them, almost like a pull, a kind of spiritual gravity that starts drawing progress toward you in ways that feel unreal. Something you've been waiting on, maybe for months, maybe for years, can finally enter motion. And it won't be messy or confusing. It'll be clean. It'll be precise. It'll feel like things click into place on purpose. The right person responds. The right door opens. The right opportunity finds you. The timing locks in so perfectly, you'll sit back and think, there's no way this is random. And that calm you might feel, that sudden confidence that shows up out of nowhere, that's often a sign your prophetic timeline has already activated. What felt delayed starts arriving. What felt blocked starts loosening. What felt impossible starts forming. Not because you finally figured it out, but because alignment has entered the room. Now listen, because I'm going to say something most people don't understand. February 6th isn't just energy. It's authority. It's the kind of day where God can override delay, break cycles, and reverse outcomes that looked permanent. It's the moment heaven says, enough. Enough waiting. Enough suffering. Enough carrying what you were never meant to carry forever. You've been in the wilderness long enough. You've been stretched long enough. You've been rebuilt in the dark long enough. And now your season is shifting, not gradually, suddenly. Sometimes the shift happens while you're still listening. A sealed door cracks open, a hidden path becomes obvious, a blessing that felt on hold starts moving again. This isn't motivational talk. This is what happens when God's timing meets your readiness, and miracles stop being rare and start becoming inevitable. Because you're in that convergence right now. And for some of you, the confirmation will be extremely practical. In the next few hours, you'll receive something that changes your direction. A call, an email, a text, a message, a conversation. It'll feel random, but it won't be. It will be orchestrated. So when it comes, don't ignore it. Don't overthink it. Don't let fear talk you out of what God is placing in your hands. Sometimes the message is the breakthrough, wearing a disguise. For others, the shift will happen internally first. A sudden clarity about what to do next. A missing piece of information that solves a problem you've battled for months. A fully formed idea that drops into your mind like it was placed there. That's not imagination. That's revelation. Write it down, move on it, honor it. And some of you won't see external change immediately, but you'll feel the internal release. You'll breathe deeper. You'll feel lighter. The anxiety eases. The confusion clears. That isn't relief. That's a timeline breaking and a new one taking its place. So treat these next 24 hours as sacred. Pay attention to what stands out. Pay attention to who reaches out. Pay attention to what keeps repeating in your spirit. Because today requires awareness. Not paranoia, awareness. You don't have to force anything. You just have to stay awake enough to recognize what God is doing. And hear me. There's a reason you're here right now. Out of millions of videos, millions of voices, and endless distractions, you landed here. That's not an accident. That's assignment. You were meant to hear this. You were meant to receive this confirmation. So don't let doubt steal the moment. Don't let fear convince you it's too good to be true. And don't let old disappointments block what God is doing now. This is different. This time is different. February 6th is different. You were faithful in the dark. Now you're about to be rewarded in the light. You obeyed when it didn't make sense. Now you're about to understand why. Every tear, every lonely night, every prayer that felt unheard, none of it was wasted. It led you here, and now the window is open. Heaven is in motion. So this isn't the moment to just hope. This is the moment to receive. You don't need perfection. You don't need every answer. You don't even need to feel ready. You only need one thing: your yes. Yes to the door. Yes to the timing. Yes to the divine plan unfolding faster than your logic can explain. Say yes, even if you're nervous. Say yes, even if you don't understand it yet. Because your yes is the key that unlocks what God already prepared. One day, one window, one opportunity to step into the timeline you were always meant to live in. So receive it right now. Chosen one, open your hands, open your heart, open your life, and let the prophecy become real. Not tomorrow, not next week, not someday, now. Today, February 6th, is your moment. The waiting is over. The shift is active. The victory is moving. Welcome to your divine window.